The moment you've all been waiting for, the season 6.5 tier list. Let's get into it, man. Black Widow, in my opinion, is not that bad. I've been saying this every single tier list. She's extremely underutilized. I'm gonna put her in the C. Who is bad? Black Panther, very limited to flat maps only right now, the Midtowns, the Arakos, and even then they have certain sidelines which makes the character unplayable. We need to do something about that character's toolkit. Blade, once again, I think is actually worse than Black Widow. Black Widow gets a decent amount of value, right? Start with all the black people first. Blade is not that strong. Of course, they buffed him, but I think it's problematic when people still have discourse whether a buff is a buff or a nerf after you change the numbers. Do you see what I mean? Daredevil, in my opinion, a lot of people will put him in the S. I would say that I would put him in the A. I don't think he would get consistent amounts of value. I still think he is decently easy to clear. I think he gets very, very random overshield hits, which I don't personally like. Definitely strong. I can't see another A tier character coming above him. Now, this is Deadpool. Okay, cool. But his DPS pool in particular, beta. I wouldn't say A. I do think he's underutilized once again. There aren't many Deadpool players in the world, especially not damaged ones. But he is actually very, very strong, fully maxed. The sword upgrades, the dash upgrades. This character is a force to be reckoned with, and I guarantee you that people, the discourse, will be very, very on this Deadpool, especially if they change the numbers of tank pool. People are gonna pick him up, and people are gonna realize, whoa. Elsa, in my opinion, is the strongest character in the game right now. Definitely one of them. Oh, sorry. Definitely one of them. How would I describe Elsa? How would I describe Elsa? She's survivable. She's a survivable damage character, right? She has a decent amount of poke, a very good brawl potential, and a very strong kill ult in a brawl phase. Very good anti-brawl character. Would recommend. Hawkeye, I think is extremely overrated. I don't think he does much. I think he dies way too early. They have barely changed Hawkeye. And guess what? Hawkeye's power level has significantly gone down because people realize that the character sucks, which is the thing that I've been saying from the very start. Cool. Human Torch, is he that bad? Unironically, he's better than Blade. Lowest pick rate in the game. That's just because he's a difficult character. He's unnecessarily difficult to make work. You know? Marvel Rivals has this trend where they make the difficult characters very, very unimpactful, which means that nobody plays the difficult characters at all, which is a bit of an issue. But in my opinion, I would play Human Torch slightly above, slightly above. Hela is in a similar situation to Daredevil, where I think that she's teetering upon the S tier category. She is just the worst Phoenix, though. I'm not gonna lie. Her ult is worse. Her dash is worse. Yes, she deals more consistent damage from range. Probably easier to play as well, but too easy to kill. In a fast-paced meta that we are currently in, is too easy to kill. Iron Fist, I think Iron Fist power levels are actually decreasing slightly. I placed him pretty high. Again, underutilized character. I think B tier is a very, very accurate place to put this guy. Um, it's a shame because I feel like he's got something in him. He definitely does got something in him. Um, and damn, this tier list is making me realize that not a lot of these characters are truly bad. Iron Man, just below Hawkeye, I would say. Iron Man has a very good kit, very strong, especially for Brawl and stuff like that. But nobody plays him. Macro hasn't been established. Where is his position in this meta? It's kind of hard to say. Obviously, poke characters had that net nerf, especially the hit scan ones, which means that Iron Man should be more viable. We just haven't really seen that come out into play. Magic, I'm a big fan of. I think Magic is still very, very strong for her purpose, and she's the best character at what she does. That primarily brawl-based character with elements of dive. I think she's very, very good. Has a killer, can consistently kill through defensibles. Sorry, I just woke up, guys. It's only 2 p.m. Um, but yeah, iframes galore. Definitely significantly worse than the Daredevil and the Hela, so I can imagine a lot of A tier characters being higher up. Mr. Fantastic, yeah, I think this hero is bad. I'll never understand the hype. No, that's a lie. Okay, for context, Mr. Fantastic is one of my best DPS characters. People always say, "Oh, he's not that bad," or he's pretty good. I said he's not that bad when he still had the overshield on his big form. Um, but now he just feeds old charge. I don't like stuff. His team ups are pretty mid. You know what I mean? I'm not a big fan of this. I don't believe in the vision at all. Moon Knight, unironically, a very strong character. I know a lot of people say it's brain dead. It's very AI pilled. It's silver pilled to say that Moon Knight is a good character, but he objectively is. He does a lot of damage. He has decent ult combos. In general, he disrupts. He's very, very good with dive poke and brawl. He's good into anti bunker, which is the whole concept, the whole premise of his character. Um, he is very underrated in high level play. Genuinely, he is underrated in high level play, and people are afraid to admit that. Now, the more S tier, good team up, very, very good individually since his buff, good ult that can kill through, good ult combos. That is just an all round strong character. Phoenix, I would say, is. Let's put her below Elsa. Phoenix is more killable than Elsa in terms of the ranges that they play. Let me explain. Phoenix has a toolkit, a kit, abilities that actually allows her to stay alive for very, very long periods of time. But the issue is she plays in a manner that isolates herself on these off angles, very rarely supported by support. Whereas Elsa always has that constant hard pocket. Elsa has a better ult in comparison to Phoenix. Phoenix, in my opinion, is still an S tier character, extremely broken, but he just doesn't do the things that Elsa can do in this game. Punisher, I would say, is above Magic. I would say worse than Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight does Punisher's job slightly better. Obviously, rank 1 as of this recording, Toothless, Shotgun only Punisher. The rank 1 global player is a shotgun only Punisher. I think that is a bit of an issue. That needs to be looked at. Punisher is very good in Brawl. Way too easy to kill, in my opinion, especially in this dive meta. But, hey, it's definitely not bad. Definitely not bad. Psylocke, in my opinion, is stronger than Punisher. Um, just in a decent spot. Heavily underrated. I think Loki is really good and Loki shuts her down. But I don't know why Psylocke doesn't receive as much playtime as she should receive, to be honest. I really, really don't understand that. Now, Scarlet Witch, terrible character. I one-tricked her for so long on an all account. All she does is win side fights. I say this every single tier list. She really doesn't do anything. She really doesn't do anything. Spider-Man, Esther, very, very strong. When we're talking about the strength of characters, I'm talking about their ceilings. If a player is good at this ceiling. Spider-Man is very good into patch, the meta, very good into flyers, very good into poke characters in general. You know, even with that being said, like he has decent matchups into characters like um, Bucky, which are obviously like very very good brawly DPS characters. Um, those can definitely be play around. It's not easy to hit a hook on the Spider-Man character, and Spider-Man does a lot both on a micro gunfight scale and a macro team play scale. Yeah, with that being said, Star-Lord, slightly below Moon Knight, definitely better than Psylocke. There's a lot of A tier characters. If there's one thing that this um, damage tier list can show you is the fact that there is a very, very versatile meta right now. A very, very versatile meta. If you're a damage character or a damage player, you're definitely eating. Star-Lord, Gambit, ult combo is very, very strong. Star-Lord's Rocket team up is very, very strong. In the neutral, very, very strong. Can play to brawl, can play to contest poke characters, can play on side lanes as a lane sort of anchor character, can play for dives, very, very strong. Storm, I would say, is in this tier. Um, good buffs, really good buffs, balanced character, very limited playstyle, good team ups though. So yeah, I don't think she can really exceed this beater unless they majorly mess up her numbers. But no, I'm completely happy with this. I'm fine with this. Squirrel Girl I think is extremely underrated. Right now, she's my most played damage character this season. Gulps. Um, she plays really well into the bunker comp. She plays really well into poke matchups. She has a decent toolkit. Her numbers aren't bad. She does not feel bad at all. You could easily drop 30k damage a game on this character. Is she a bit two-dimensional? Can she be killed out from range? Yeah, sure. But she definitely has her place, and I would say that her place is more consistent than the likes of Human Torch, than the likes of Hawkeye, than the likes of Mr. Fantastic. So objectively speaking, that is not a bad character at the moment. She is genuinely in a pretty decent state. Bucky, definitely better than Magic. Yeah, yeah, like now looking at this, Magic needs to go, bro. Magic's in beta. Bucky, better than Punisher, better than Psylocke in my opinion, but not better than Star-Lord, right? Having said that, Wolverine, more niche picks, probably are teetering around this area. Now, Bucky and Wolverine are both good for their displacement value. In my opinion, Wolverine doing damage multiplication to the tank is nice. It's nice to have, but that's not necessarily the win con or what makes the character extremely strong, extremely busted. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's nothing much more to say about that. We know that the character's good. So this is my DPS tier list right now. I know it's very, very heavily leaning towards the A tier. But what do you guys think about that? Now, you guys always laugh at me because I drag the characters one by one, but I personally like these little intermissions because it allows me to speak to you guys and remind you guys to subscribe if you want to see more content. There are going to be more coaching videos coming out, um, so just be aware of those. The rest of these roles really should not take as long as the DPS one. I can imagine looking at the little scroll bar on YouTube, and I wouldn't even be surprised if the rest of the video takes 4 minutes. The rest are very, 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 very simple. Cloak and Dagger S tier, that character is stupid, brain dead, broken, very good. Very, very, very good into dive, very strong with brawl characters. Very, 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 very strong. Usually an AI take, but this is such a high level take that it appears to be AI. If you don't get it, you just don't get it. That character has so much utility, objectively, it's insane. Right? Going on to Ultron, again, I just think supports are in a very good state. I think supports are in a very good state. Let's drop this down to beta actually. Um, very strong character, very strong in the triple support. Now that they've nerfed every other every other poke character, Ultron has been bumped up scale wise, if that makes sense. Like in terms of the rankings, Ultron was only bad because Phoenix was better, or Hela was better, and now the gap between these characters are significantly less. I think Strat Pool is extremely underrated. These are gonna be really, really nice triple support options. And I would actually argue, and this is gonna be controversial. How controversial do you want me to get? How controversial do you want me to get? Because I will go completely against the mold and say that I think Gambit is underrated. Sorry, overrated. I'd say that Gambit is overrated. There were definitely times where I said that it's always uncounterable, but now in high level play, now that we know that it's counterable, Gambit does significantly less than a lot of these characters. And if you really, really, really want to get controversial about how I genuinely view the game, how I genuinely view the game, I would say that Adam, since his flight, bro, they gave Adam a jetpack. I think this character is extremely strong, extremely broken. He can take angles. Mantis opens up every single triple support option, and triple support is very, very strong. Remember, when I talk about triple support, I'm talking about the Ultron variations, the Adam variations, the Jeff variations. These are better versions than running 3 tranks. 3 tranks don't do anything, it stops you from losing. It helps you live, stops you from losing. That's all it does. Right? Now, Loki, Esther. Loki is the best character in the game. Loki enables everything. Loki has the best team ups. Loki is very, very strong. Loki for double cloak is very strong. Cloaky is very strong. Cloaky Mantis with any variation is very strong. Loki with Adam with any variation is very strong. So view my support tier list as if I'm pairing these good supports with Loki. With that being said, of course, Double Gambit is also arguably the strongest comp. But neutral wise and what they bring to the comps and how many comps they can fit into, I genuinely believe that Adam is top five support. Sorry, that Gambit is top five supports, but not even in the top four. And that's a very controversial take. That's a very, very controversial take. I'm not even rage baiting or anything of that manner, of that sort. That is my genuine perspective. I would now go down to D tier and Rocket. I think he's one of the worst characters in the game. He's just worse than Gambit in every single way. Exact same cycle. Build ult, pop ult, build ult, pop ult. But his ult is just worse Gambit. So is there a need for him? Yeah, Resurrect is cool. I really, really like the Resurrect interaction with Dive, just in case you accidentally mess up your dive. But why are we hotfixing? Why are we patching a potential mistake that we could make in the future? Doesn't make sense to me. Invis is better than Ultron. And then in my opinion, I would have Luna lower. Um, Invis is better than Ultron for sure. A lot of people say that Invis is strong because she has a nice balance between neutral and her ult. But I would actually argue that her neutral isn't better than Adams. Her ult isn't better than Adams. Her neutral isn't better than Cloaks. Her ult isn't better than Cloaks. You know, her neutral man. This is what. Why is Invis respected? Genuine question. Genuine question. This I can already tell that people are gonna have a severe issue with this tier list. People are going to have a severe issue with this tier list. But I feel like I need to back and defend my actual perspective on what I'm actually doing and coaching in pro scrims. Jeff is very, very good, very strong with dive, best team ups, most team ups in the entire game. Very consistent, can work in 2-2-2 comps, can work with any support pairing. Definitely a main healer. Definitely a good character. I'm ready to argue in the comments. I'm not even gonna ask you guys. I'm not even gonna ask you guys. What do you guys think? I'm ready to argue in the comments, and I'll die on this hill. Now, going on to the tanks. Going on to the tanks. What tanks do I genuinely think are the best right now? Gulps. Strange. Strange. No, let me go in order. Let me go in order. Angela, Esther, most likely. Very good at anchoring side lanes. Very good dive character. Um, decent util ult to pop out. Just very nice in the meta. I really like. You'll notice all of the tanks that I think are the best fulfill the same role. You know, some tanks will have slightly lower because I think they fulfill the role slightly worse than other tanks. But I think that Angela fulfills a very nice side lane control role. Um, yeah. Sorry, give me one sec. Give me one sec. Alright, I'm back. That's dark. Okay, I just came back to see a Boohoo advert. A Boohoo advert. I just came back to see a Boohoo advert of clothes that I have literally bought. So now I can't gatekeep that. Fairs, man. Angela is very good. Angela is very good. Captain America, I think this guy is washed, bro. Captain America in a big 2-6. Cool, he has a decent ult. He has decent ult charge, and I use Captain America as a very good example as to why I think Gambit is overrated. Because, oh, universal ult charge buff for his teammates. If that was good, Captain America would be good, and he's not good. He's the worst dive target. He can't even disrupt as well as a lot of the other tanks. Like, again, top teams are playing disruption dive with the Venom, so why do we need the Cap anymore? The only thing I like about Cap is the fact that it's a third defensive ult without stealing ult charge from your other healers. Very, very good in triple support, I guess. But I think this character is majorly washed. Now, you saw me put Strange in S tier before. That character is S tier, bro. That character does everything. In fact, I would. That character does everything. Um, Main tank can do that. Side lanes can do that. Kilo can do that. TP recontest. There needs to be a conversation about Strange. There genuinely needs to be a conversation about Strange and how busted and broken or overpowered this character is. Because I genuinely think that there's argument that he's the strongest character in the entire game. And nobody is talking about it. Tank pool. Oh, I lied. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, once again, you'll notice that these tanks all fulfill the same role. Stand in a corner, pressure that corner, disable enemy team from standing in same corner. Tank pool, busted, nerf that guy, kill him with a hammer. Yeah, Emma, obviously not a bad tank, definitely can't get worse. Like, you can't get worse than these tanks. Um, sorry, that's not what I meant, but you these tanks cannot get worse with the kits that they have unless they change their numbers. These tanks, the mags, the emmers, they do the same thing. Their jobs are very, very nice, and I would actually argue that Groot is potentially stronger than Strange as well. So sorry for glazing Strange. Sorry for glazing Strange. That's just the UK in me. Everyone knows that every UK player has their Strange gene. Every UK player has a Strange gene. So this is what I would usually say. Um, Venom, even Venom is a big shout. Gree is a very good ground tank. The only one that occupies S tier that isn't a side lane tank. Venom, in my opinion, is straight up better than both Emma and Mag for what they do. I think Venom is very good for hard dives, best burst dive character. Venom has very, very good team ups, very good the anti-heal, very, very good state from the lad, very good state, well in. Um, Hulk, gulps. I think the character's fine. Don't get me wrong. Like me saying that these characters are here is gulps. Yeah, like it's just it's playable. It's playable. I have nothing more to say about that guy. Um, Thor I put slightly higher up. Thing I would put I think lower. So, just for the context, for those of you guys that don't follow me too intensely, I had Thor a lot lower than this last season, but now I see the vision. I think his disruption is actually better than Angela in a lot of ways. Just in terms of like how little it takes and how little setup you need and how disposable that is. Thing I've put in my S tier for the past 2 seasons, I think his power level is dropping with the introduction of Tank Pull and the strengthening of Doctor Strange. Um, but Thing is still a very, 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 very good character. Penny, in my opinion, is on this level. Um, I know you guys have seen my team permanently play Penny. We love that Penny character, but Cringe is just the GOAT. Unfortunately, that's probably going to be my next video as well. Penny coaching session, a professional coaching session for the first ever time. I recorded it, but I'm deliberately waiting for our MLC season to be over before I drop it and make it public, um, so the ops can't scout me. Um, and to close up this tier list, I would also place Rogue just slightly below Thing. Has very, very, very good team ups. Nice little side lane character, but she's limited to the flat maps in comparison to characters like Angela and Deadpool and Doctor Strange that can really, really occupy whatever part of the map that they want. I think that looks like a more standard tier list. My support tier list, gulps. I'm gonna upload that on TikTok to see what people say. But genuinely, I'm a big believer of it. So let me know what you guys think about this. Um, yeah.